Everybody come home from Boston, get back just in time for the tournament.
How's practice been going the last week?
Well, I mean, if you want to call it practice, I mean, it's, just trying to get everybody get to know each other, we got probably have more guys on the floor that have never played than guys that have played. So, but we're able to get some things done. Just go up and down and start putting some thoughts together about what it might look like. But I reminded them that last June we thought we were going to play a certain way, and then by the time December 1st came around, it was total 180. So right now we're just doing some little things that we think can help them. But as far as actual team stuff, no, not that much.
It hasn't been that long since the end of the season, but KK seemed more mature or at ease or something the other day. Have you seen a difference in her?
It's pretty evident that the change that players are able to go through from freshman year to sophomore year, especially when they've played a lot of minutes. Sometimes you get a freshman that's played sparingly and they come back and they're this much different. But when you got somebody that's played as much as KK played, the difference is huge. And the off season now is not about, I hope I can, play, I hope I can get some minutes, I hope I can fit in. Now it's about specific goals and aspirations, that this is what I want. This is what I want for our team. This is what I want for me. I've had a chance to see what, the really good guards on our team do, and she's embraced it. That's probably been obviously the focal point. How do we get our freshmen to be a lot better? And how do we get our new guys to blend in real quick? I'm not that worried about, what Paige is doing. Right now, it's just about all of them. We're young guys. I mean, if you think about it.
How different will the three-guard lineup be with Caitlyn?
It depends. I'm not sure. At this point, exactly what it's going to look like. But, we've always played with what people used to, would say it's a three-guard lineup or whatever it is, but that goes back to 1985. I mean, that's the way I've always coached. Sometimes four, like last year, hell, when Gabby was playing, sometimes five. You don't know what you're going to have. So I think the goal should always be put your five best players on the floor as often as possible. And don't worry about necessarily what position they play or what the deal is. Just try to get your best five players on the floor for as long as possible each game. And we'll find out who that happens to be.
I know it's June, but two-part. What's the freshman to sophomore jump for KK and Ashlyn look like right now? And have you talked to them about they probably aren't going to get the minutes if everyone stays healthy? Last year, and
they know.
They have less.
They know production. That. Yeah, they know that. They know that. I mean, I don't. If they don't know that, then they're not as bright as I think they are. But I mean, I think they're pretty smart to, if you're. I made that comment at a thing that I was at recently. I said, Ash had a great freshman year, and her role will be different this year. Doesn't mean it's going to be less. No, it'll just be different. We're going to ask her to do anything different. Just, go out and do what you did. And whether that's at the beginning of the game, the middle of the game, the end of the game, whenever it is. You played the beginning of the games, you played middle of the games, and you played end of games. But her role is going to be different. And somebody's like, well, why? I said, well, maybe it won't be different. Maybe Azzi will decide she wants to come off the bench and only play 5 minutes. Like, people forget that as you start to incorporate more people, people's roles change. but that doesn't mean the production has to change. Same with Caitlyn. Her role is going to change. And how many shots did Nika take today? 4? 5? So, there's a lot more. There's probably going to be a lot more shots available this year because we're going to play different. So both of them, and Ice the same way. Ice was a freshman. Ice's role is going to change. Is it going to be like it was in the Big East tournament? I don't know. But it's going to be a lot more than it was at the beginning of last season, for sure. So that's why, in June, you just want to kind of get them going up and down. Hi, I'm Paige. Hi, I'm Sarah. And just, that's basically it. Really. I liked it better when we didn't do any of this stuff. I liked it better when I didn't see them from May till October. And they liked me more, and I liked them. And they all got really good. Whoever decided this was a great idea, I'm not sure they is 100% right.
Have you seen enough of Caitlyn to figure out what quality she brings to this team?
Yeah, she plays really hard. She's really a tough kid. If you were at the game, which you were when they played us, hell. So that's how she is in practice. She's really good around the basket. She is aggressive as hell. She's athletic as hell. And eager. Like, I think she's anxious to, they certainly at Princeton, they played a lot of really good teams. But not every day like she's going to here. And I'm sure practice was really, really good at Princeton. But it's a little bit different. And she's embracing it all day. She's anxious every day. And even when she's not supposed to be in there, she's in there. So she's raring to go. That was a really good decision by us.
When you took the job at UConn, did you ever think you'd be signing a new contract in 2024?
I didn't think I'd be signing a new contract in 1994, much less 2024. I thought my shelf life here was going to be very, very limited. But life has a way of doing that. Sometimes you just wake up one morning and where'd the 40 years go, But no, never would have envisioned that. If you'd asked me 4 years ago, when we were in the middle of like COVID and all that other stuff, hey, don't worry about it, you'll be first signing another year. I wouldn't have signed a 5-day contract back then.
Did you get to the Celtics game last night?
I did not. I was doing something for this event. I was hosting a group of people that have come from out of town, and our corporate sponsor, Freeman. So,
did you reach out to Missoula anyway?
I did. I watched the whole thing afterwards. It's pretty incredible.
Hey, this tournament, I know how important it is to you. It's a great cause. Just tell us a little about what it means to you. Just the importance of it.
Yeah, it's become, as you can see here, it's become one of the big events that happens out here, and everyone looks forward to it. And this is the first time where we actually have new people that have been able to get in because some people, scheduling wise or something happened, just weren't able to play. But generally, it's hard to get new people into the tournament because everybody keeps coming back every year. And last year, I think we gave the hospital a check for I want to say $750,000. So I'm hoping that we can get to $1 million. And when we started, it was $15,000. So I think we've made a lot of progress, done a lot for a lot of kids, and the more time my players spend over there when they interact with these kids, it's just it makes you want to do even more. Even as much as what we're trying to do, and we're doing our best that we can, you always feel like I wish I could do more. And when you see the response of the families and what we're able to do to help some of these families, see their way through some of this some of the things that they're experiencing. It's more emotional than it is anything else, I think. It's a good feeling. It really is. It's a great feeling.
What was the inspiration initially? Was there something that happened, or
No,
was it just
guy
a good
asked me to come play in this tournament and say a few words afterwards. And then when I asked him afterwards, how did we do? He said we did great. $15,000, most people ever made in the summer. I said, oh, okay. So that was kind of like a challenge, you know. I said, now we have to. And that was the first time I'd ever even heard of it. And that was, I don't know, 20-some years ago, 25. I don't even know when it was. 20 years. And I just felt like, come on. And that's kind of where it all started.
How do you think the Olympic selection committee did with the 12 players?
I thought they did great. You know, there's always going to be somebody that makes the team and everybody's surprised, and there's always going to be some people that don't make the team and everybody's surprised. But that's because they don't have to make those decisions. You know, my favorite part was that nobody mentioned me, so I thought that was really great.
First time in 16 years.
I mean, first time in 16 years, I wasn't the reason why somebody didn't make the team or somebody did make the team. So, no, I think they, you know, everybody always makes a big deal when somebody doesn't make the team. You know, that's disrespectful to whoever did make the team. What, they don't deserve to make it? I don't remember there being an international incident when Charles Barkley didn't make the Olympic team. He turned out to be a pretty damn good player, didn't he? Isn't he like one of the top 50 players of all time? So I remember Isaiah Thomas didn't make the team, and Chuck Daly was the coach. You know, shit happens, and you got to respect the process. And you know, so look, here's what I would say. If you call Cheryl and say, Cheryl, are you happy with your team? And she says yes, then you know what? It's a good decision. By everybody. That's the way I look at it.
There's a lot of women's basketball experts out there now.
You know, it's like new millionaires. You know, they join country clubs, they wear their hats on backwards, they break all the rules because they think, you know, life revolves around them and they know everything about everything. You know? Yeah, that's the worst part about new fans. You know, they have no perspective. There's no context. So they just say ridiculous nonsense, and then it becomes red versus blue, white versus black, truth versus lies. You know, it just reflects the whole world that we live in, right?
Right.
Unfortunately.
I think you feel bad for Caitlyn because, at least from watching her, she seems to handle everything great, and everything just swirls around her.
That's pretty much the way. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it works. You know, I really do. I do really feel for anybody who's in that situation, and that's happened to a lot of athletes over the years, where they become a cause rather than just an athlete trying to play a game. You know, they become a movement. You know, like I said earlier, they actually had odds that, you know, she was like third or fourth in the betting odds to be MVP of the WNBA. That's such a slap in the face to every WNBA player. It's unbelievable, right? But you know, it comes from a place where people want it so bad, but it's misguided, and certainly she's not, I don't think, driving it. She's not out there campaigning for it. She's handling her own playing. She has good days, she has bad days. She makes shots, she doesn't make shots. But it's funny to listen to the Fever management bitch and moan about physical fouls. Whenever, anytime I bitch and moan about the game being too physical, there's always somebody on that staff saying that I'm something, you know. So what goes around comes around, doesn't it?
Are Morgan and Yana practicing at all? Or working out?
Morgan's doing some things, not everything. Yana's doing some things, not everything. AZ's doing some things, not everything. none of them are actually involved in going up and down the floor and playing 5-on-5. It's only June. It's only June. And Sarah's with the 17 and under national team. I don't know what their schedule is either. I should find out. I don't know. I know they could
They
have
played today at 4.
Brazil yesterday.
Yeah,
They played yesterday?
They beat Brazil yesterday.
Did they beat them by a lot? I hope.
Pretty comfortably.
Good. So she only had to play like 15 minutes maybe?
I think she did. I think she like 14.
14?
Yeah.
I love
Hit a
it.
buzzer beater though.
She did. Courtney
Yeah?
was a beater.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, well, she has a habit of doing that. I've seen her do that a lot over the last 3 or 4 years in high school.
I'm sure you talked to Neil about the schedule. We haven't heard much about it. Is conference realignment making things harder, or I think you have only one home game so far, USF.
Us?
Yeah, as far as I know,
I
unless
think we got more than that,
Well,
as far as I know.
then everyone's keeping this secret.
Yeah, well, it's part of our job, isn't it? Your job is try to find out. Our job is to keep a secret. A lot of it has to do with TV. A lot of it has to do with TV. Where you're playing, when you're playing. And now everybody's in a race to have all these events. Come to this event, play 2 games, and come to this event, play 3 games, play in this neutral event over here. Well, none of them are, hey, let's have an event at Campbell. So all these games that you get an opportunity to play in, none of them are at home. But, the goal is always. And then here's the other thing. I think that as the conference realignment happens and all this other stuff, our men play 20 conference games, so there's probably no reason why we shouldn't play 20 conference games. And then we'd have to work less hard for some teams to go find outside non-conference games. That's one. But no, we'll have plenty of home games. Don't worry. Well, let's say plenty. 4. 5. 5. It's 10. Neutral site. So there you have it.
The Lakers gonna come after you now?
Who?
The Lakers?
No. No.
Have you had that? From
I'm not a
your
lake guy. I
vantage?
don't even go to lakes.
No Lakers.
I go to the ocean. I don't go to the lake.
What do you think about that? How it all played out with Dan, and from what you said?
Hey, as I said, I wanted to make sure I signed mine before he did his. So I would have come out with just season tickets to men's games if I'd have waited for him to get his money, right? So I wanted to make sure I got mine done. I'm sure everybody was a little bit nervous and all that, but I always thought that he would stay here. There's too much invested here. I don't mean just here in Connecticut, just Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, like the whole. It's hard to just pick up and leave that, I'm sure there's a number for everybody to do whatever, but I was never. Then again, I'm not Dave Benedict. I'm not.
You want a tea? I'm gonna get
I'm
some
not
water.
that person to ask that. But I'm glad he stayed. But I never thought he would go. I'm glad he went through the process, though. I never thought he would go. And I'm glad he stayed.
You don't see many guys make that transition anymore. Do you think he could do it eventually, or
He has said that's what he wants to do down the road. And I'm sure if that's what he wants to do, we'll figure out a way to do it. But the timing has to be right, the place has to be right. There's a lot of factors that go into it, It's not like it can't be done. I mean, Brad did it. Brad Stevens did it, and it worked out pretty well for him. So, I'm sure it'll be in his future somewhere down the road.
You've always been really open-minded about playing freshmen quite a bit, and have had to the last few years. with such a deep roster, are these three guys talented enough to
Yeah,
get
they're all going to
considered?
play.
Yeah.
They're all going to play. Yeah, contrary to popular opinion, I do like having more than 6 players on my team. You know, I don't like necessarily having 15 players on my team, but I'm highly encouraged by administration to have 15 players on our team because it helps with, you know,
Balancing
all
things.
the other stuff that goes on, you know. But they don't have to sit there and go, here's my starting 5. And then there's other 5 guys looking at me like, when is it my turn? And then 5 more guys going, seriously? So how the hell do you do that? There's no humanly possible way that you can do that and do it easily and effectively. But does every coach like playing 8, 9, 10 players if possible? 100%. 100%. Come NCAA tournament time, does every coach like playing 10 players? Hell no. Right? But during the season, yeah, you get 10 players that can really play, and there's not that big a gap between, you know, 3 and 10. 100%, man. I'll take a team like that every day of the week. I just don't remember the last time I was in that situation. Maybe when Feast and Lou were freshmen. Probably the last time that we had that many players. And they all played a lot. They all played a lot. And we were really good, if I remember.
KK the other day talked about feeling like the chemistry's already doing really well.
Who said that?
KK did. I mean, do you see those connections coming together faster than they have in the past at all?
You know, hey, KK doesn't have any problem with chemistry with anybody ever. She creates the chemistry. So kids like that always feel like there's a great connection. And she's a big part of why there is. You know, she's outgoing. She's connected to everybody on the team. She makes sure that everybody knows she's. And we talked about this. You know, there should never be a time when you're in the building and I don't know you're here, because you have to play to your person out, and that's her person out. So if she's ever anything other than that, then that's a bad day for her. So. And we work really hard to bring in kids that fit easily. When you got to try really, really hard to plug somebody in, I don't even mean as a player, I mean as a person. It's a pain in the ass, man. It's wearing on you that you always got to worry about. This kid's a downer, this kid, it's hard to fit in. So we generally don't have that. And some years it's better than others, you know? And this year could be one of those years where, and the other thing that you hope that it helps, and that has to be managed, but when there's competition for playing time, that's when it's really tested what your chemistry really is. And as long as everybody gets a fair shake and everybody has an equal opportunity, you know, and whoever comes out on top gets more minutes than those who don't, and everybody accepts that and understands that, you know. So, like KK and Ash didn't come here. Oh, if I don't play 30 minutes, I'm transferring. They happen to play 3 minutes every night, sometimes in certain games.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are 20 minutes.
I don't think today's world though, it's much harder to get freshmen to come in and say, yeah, I just want to win. Because if it was all about I just want to win, there wouldn't be 1,200 kids in the portal every year, right? So.
I follow USA basketball. Could you have imagined Diana would be playing USA basketball 20-something years after you first coached her?
Yes, that's one thing I'm not surprised about. If she stayed healthy, she would play till 60. And if she didn't have to train, and Sue's the same way. If they could just show up and play and not have to go through everything it takes to get ready to play, because that's the grind that they don't like. They don't like having to stay in shape all year round. And all year round, you gotta, and as your body gets older, it gets harder and harder. So that's the grind. But the love of the game and wanting to play and competing and winning gold medals, I thought for me that would never go away. She just loves the game too much, man. Just loves the game too much. And the game loves her. That's the best part.
KK said that Jana's a real dog. Can you see that in her? I mean, she's just very competitive.
Yeah, I would say that she's a competitive kid, like a lot of kids that come from overseas. They don't come here to like sit on the bench. Her first 2 weeks here, she was disappointed that she wasn't, as good as some of the starters, because she's in a hurry to be really good. She works hard at it, and it's going to be a lot of work to slow her down. She goes 100 miles an hour all the time. I just love her energy. I love her toughness. But, talking to her about, I've never seen anybody shoot it and chase it. Like, if you shoot to make it, you don't have to chase it. Like, I never seen Dee shoot and get an offensive rebound. She expects the ball to go in. I don't think I've ever seen AZ go after an offensive rebound. When they shot it, they shoot it and they expect it to go in. Right now, Jenna, she lets it go. She's already running to go after it. I'm like, whoa, slow down a little bit. She's been here a long time and hasn't played. It's like she's got a lot of kind of energy. That kid.
Do you have to handle her more like a freshman or like an upperclassman?
No, as a freshman. A freshman basketball-wise, more as almost a junior as person-wise. Yeah. And there's some stuff between she and I that she was able